Okay, so you wanted to tell me about what actually happened there.
I don't know what's the trouble with my Samadhi practice.
Yeah?
I think I just get bored. I don't know if it's the object that's not suitable for me, or if I'm not practicing long enough, or if I'm not doing the right thing.
What are you taking?
Breath.
The breath. Breath around here at the tip of the nose,
Yes.
Yeah? What you can try is, yes, boredom comes up, because there's some restlessness inside us.
Quite a lot.
And that makes the object boring. Yeah? The restlessness wants to go out, and we try to keep it in, and then boredom comes up or tiredness comes up, all sorts of hindrances.
Boredom does not come when I do body investigation. Like, for me, that's so interesting and.
Yes, but still you need samadhi.
Yeah.
I mean, without samadhi, it's just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it is interesting, and we like to think. Yeah. I mean, we thought our whole life, we'd always think things up, Yes, it is useful, Then concentrate on the body, and then afterwards, you will have to force your mind, to go to the Buddha or to the breath. Or use put with breathing in and do with breathing out. Huh? Okay. You have to make the mind somehow, quiet.
Yeah. Because I think, a lot of thoughts, they distract me, like, I don't know where I read previously, like, or some type of character, they don't have to develop so much samadhi, they can go directly to this. So all this is kind of,
Yeah. And that's not true. I mean, the Buddha talked about seen samadhi panya. So there's always concentration. And as I said yesterday also, I mean, the important thing, I mean, he stressed it, the Lord Buddha himself stressed it. I mean, to go into samadhi, or he said to go into the jhanas, and then afterwards you feel refreshed, and then you can go to work. Of course, because the Westerners cannot do it.
It's very hard.
It's very hard. That's why they don't like to do it, And that's why they all find, excuses, But when you look at all these Kuba Acharyas, all here in Thailand, all, wherever there are good practicing monks or lay people, they all have done samadhi. And it is not easy, I mean, I've done it, I mean, I myself was a researcher who was thinking 24 hours a day, and it took me 2 years, I mean, to really, because I wanted it, I can do it, whatever you want, you can, But you have to really want it.
That's the problem, when the thoughts come and then...
But how often have you had these thoughts? Then do some investigation about these thoughts and memories that constantly come in. How often did you have them? And what did they bring you? I mean, some of these thoughts you have 1,000 times, and they don't lead you anywhere. Yeah?
Okay. May I ask a few questions just to make sure I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah.
So, I'm focusing on the breath. I'm trying to... I feel like sati is when nothing else is there, only the knowingness of the breath.
Yes.
But this is a very, I don't know, it's like kind of high stage, no?
This is extremely subtle, I mean, when there's only this knowingness. But what happens before is you know everything. And then this knowingness gets more and more focused, more and more concentrated onto one thing, I mean, you stay with the breath, and in the beginning you know only the breath around the tip of the nose, And the more you get concentrated, this knowingness that is, there's a concentration, the concentration is around here. And at the beginning, concentration and knowingness is around the tip of the nose. when the concentration gets better, the knowingness drops into the heart. And then it starts to know the whole breath body. That means from top to toe, yeah? It feels it, yeah? And it also knows things outside. And then it starts to concentrate it inside, and then it gets rid of all the outside distraction and focuses just on the knowingness itself.
And so,
But that is a long training, yeah? I mean, don't expect it to happen within 2 days, yeah?
no, it's hard to keep up the.
And don't control the breath.
Yeah.
That's why I say, we live here in a monastery. We have animals. I mean, we have these squirrels, we have these, whatever, we have these dogs. Sit down, or the ants, lots of ants, or even mosquitoes. Look what they are doing. Observe them. In this kind of observance, you have to do with the breath. You cannot control, yeah? But when you look at them, you observe them, you know what they are doing, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't have to force that. You don't have to think about what they are doing. You see, you observe them and you see what they are doing. You don't have to think about what is it up to now. You see them, you observe them, watch from, like they jump from tree to tree and tree to tree, yeah? And then they look around, you see them, they are scared, when they are looking around like this, then they are scared. You feel it, you know it. And this kind of knowingness you need to put into practice with your breath. Don't try to make the breath smooth or, just observe it. Right? Or observe the clouds. At the moment the clouds are going. Observe anything, you cannot control these things. And that's the same thing. We don't want to control the breath. And that is our biggest mistake. We always try to control the breath. Huh? To make it short, to make it long, or to make it quiet, yeah? And then we suddenly, need to breathe because, we try to control it, yeah? And this controlling mechanism is very subtle. It gets very subtle, yeah? You don't even notice it, But once your concentration becomes stronger, you will notice, it always tries to control something, yeah? And that is not the practice. The practice is not to control something. The practice is to observe what is happening at the moment, yeah? And the only thing what we control is putting the sati back to the place where we decided to stay.
And so when I stay with the breath,
Yeah?
it should be only like completely shut off everything else and only.
No, you have to observe it how it is, because it will shut off itself.
But a lot of other things are going on.
Yeah, you don't concentrate on this. You are like a tunnel view, yeah?
Yeah, is this
You
not
don't look at the other things, but you will not be able, in the beginning you will know them, they are around. And that is not a problem. But you do not concentrate on them. Yeah?
okay. I think I get so irritated by all this. I just want to be with the breath and all these things are coming and that makes me more agitated.
Yes? And that is the wrong way, yeah? You have to accept the thing, yeah? I know it is very difficult, yeah, to accept the things as they are, yeah? You have to accept these things, but your interest should be only with the breath, yeah?
What if a really strong kilesa is coming?
It can be restlessness, it can be doubt, it can be sloth and torpor. There are quite a few. That depends on the characteristic of the person, yeah? Whatever is your characteristic. If you're very doubtful, doubt comes up. If you're very restless, very active, the restlessness comes up, yeah, and so on and so on. Yeah?
But what should I do then?
Yeah, just go back and then walk Chongkrom. You haven't done that. Walking meditation. Yeah? Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
People in the West don't like to walk anymore, yeah? Huh?
I think there is a slight voice of doubt in my head saying, you don't have to shut everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't
That's
have
a
to, like,
yeah. They want to have a door open.
yes.
Yeah. So where they can always come in and control you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Don't listen to these voices. Yeah.
Okay, I will try. Another thing that I noticed is that um, since the day that I've switched to more body investigation and less breath,
Yeah.
it's so interesting. Like for 1 month, certain kind of kilesas were troubling mostly my mind,
Yeah.
like fear and doubt and
Yeah.
boredom.
Yeah.
Very strongly, like I was not really coping well.
Mm-hmm.
And since I switched, those kilesas from my mind are gone.
Yeah.
But now I feel like they are manifesting on the physical level, like my digestion is bad and
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like, is it like just the mind has just shifted into another thing, but the kilesas are still there doing
They
the
are
same
there.
thing in the other. I would like
How
to
do you
believe
expect
like
the kilesas? Yeah. Yeah. The kilesas only you diminish the kilesas. Yeah. By really cutting down on greed and hate. Yeah. That's where you diminish the kilesas by investigation of the body. But what you do now is not really investigation of the body. It is thinking about the body. And that doesn't cut down the kilesa, sorry about it. Yeah?
what about feeling the sensation? Because I come from the Goenka tradition.
Yeah, but these sensations will be there forever until you die.
Yeah.
And they will come and they will go and they will change. So what is there, what is there to understand?
Yeah.
It's just like when you have, there's wind, there's sun, there's cloud, there's rain, yeah? And they will always be there, and they will not change. What we have to do is we have to understand how, like I said yesterday, the clock, yeah? You open it up and see the gears, yeah? You have to understand how this gear works. And observing them doesn't help. Yeah? You have to dig down, you have to panya, you have to ask the right questions. Yeah? If you ask the wrong questions, you go into thinking. If you ask the right questions, you get right answers. You develop wisdom. Not where is it coming from, it is there already. Yeah? What you have to ask, what came before? How does it feel like? Can I accept it? These are the questions that you ask. And that are the questions the kilesas don't really like. Yeah? They want to think about this, yes, because of this and this, and this and this, yeah? No. That's not the questions we ask. Yeah? What came before? Yeah? They don't want to know that. What came before this feeling, or what came before this thought, or what came before that, yeah? And what came then before that, yeah? So that we see how the gears, the 5 khandhas, the 5 gears work, to produce something that is actually not real.
Okay. So shifting the attention just to another object is like, it's just restlessness.
What you can do with the breath, you can keep the whole breath body in your awareness. But you concentrate here. Yeah? That's what you can do. Or you can try put with breathing in, go with breathing out. Yeah? And investigation is really asking, yeah? It is the same thing, yeah? When we start body investigation, we take one object, we make a tour through the body, yeah? We take one object, for instance the skin or the nails, yeah? And then we visualize them inside until they become very clear. And then we ask, yeah, these nails, their skin, their nails, where is it, and then we go into it, yeah? It's all the same thing. It's all the same material, yeah? But suddenly, there are nails, yeah? Or suddenly there are hair, yeah? And there is no hair, yeah? Yeah? Where is the hair coming from? You really want to know. And then you want to know and understand the nature of the hair, yeah? The nature of the hair, divided up into the 4 elements, yeah? Into the earth element, water element, fire element, air element, yeah? Because everything that exists in this world is made out of these four elements. But we can't see them. Yeah? What we see is not what is there. Yeah? What we see is what we agree to see. Yeah? You're taught in school what you have to see, and that's what you see. Yeah? When they say this is this kind of tree, then you see this kind of tree. Yeah? But you don't see what it is actually there. Yeah? It's the same with the skin, it's the same with the hair, it's the same with the inside. Yeah? And one thing, as I describe more often is, taking the body apart and putting it out there. But you also have to visualize it.
I tried that and I really liked it.
Yeah, that is good, yeah. But make it more real, yeah. So when you take a raw saw, and cut off your hand, yeah. You feel the pain, even in your imagination, yeah. And then you look, and then you look, yeah, at the cut side, yeah. Then you see the bones, and then you see the flesh, then you see the tendons, then you see the fat, the grease, and then you see the skin, yeah. And then put it down. That is more visualizing, yeah. Huh? And make it real, yeah. We went through all this. How often, did we cut out, did somebody else cut our hands? We know how this feels, yeah. And there's a shudder running down the spine when we really do it, yeah. And that is helpful, yeah. Another question.
This is just something to satisfy my curiosity. When does the fear of death disappear? Does that disappear with Sotapanna? Like the actual fear of this bodily death?
It starts to disappear with Sotapanna, but it's still on, yeah? Because the Sotapanna still has greed and hate, yeah? Yeah. It's certainly gone with the Anagami. Yeah. Yeah? The Sotapanna is still attached to the body, he still likes the body and he doesn't want to let go of the body, so there is a certain fear. But it's not the same kind of fear, yeah? It's everything, it is reduced, to maybe 10%, yeah? Yeah, with the Sotapanna, as before, as a what is it called, as putuchana or whatever it's called. A worldling, yeah. A worldling has much stronger feelings, much more stronger attachment than the Sotapanna, yeah. But the fear of death will still be there, but it slowly disappears, and the Anagami doesn't have it anymore. Why should he have it? He knows what is up, yeah? And an Arahant especially doesn't have it. Yeah? The fear of death is, the fear of the unknown, yeah? And even a Sotapanna already knows the unknown, yeah? So he will not be afraid of this. This kind of fear is gone. But, the fear, of the bodily pain and of bodily death, is still there. Yeah? It's still attached. You're very much attached, yeah? Sotapanna still can marry, have children, for 7 lives, he can be, before he realizes this is all a folly, yeah? But, yeah, that depends. Okay?
Okay. I have a little donation.
Yeah.
Actually, I have some more things that I bought yesterday. I just left it downstairs. Shall I bring it tomorrow? Or?
Yeah, anytime you like.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
We're leaving tomorrow, so we just want to apologize if we make any mistake with intention or we without intention to the Sangha community and the people here. Neither Ajahn and the Dhamma community accept or apology for any action that's been done to speech, action, or thought.
So why do you leave?
Tomorrow.
Why?
Plane? The visa and the plane ticket?
What?
The visa and the plane ticket?
Visa and the plane tickets. You want to go back to Indonesia?
Yeah.
Huh? Indonesia is a very fragile country. Huh?
True. Yeah, true. Actually, back in Indonesia, I had,
You're in Sumatra. You come from Sumatra.
yes, I had,
Medan, or was it Medan?
we had a teacher,
Yeah?
a very old one. He used to train under Longpa Mahabua, but I don't think you know him. He's from the 70s. He's very old now and incredibly difficult to meet, but all his teachings were like hit through
What?
all his teachings
Yeah?
went straight to all the problems that we had. But
Yeah?
I think that I needed more guidance, which is why I tried visiting a place like this
Yeah?
to see how it's. So I was wondering, when you mentioned that when you were investigating and you need to ask questions and the kilesas come up with the answers.
Yeah?
And then you mentioned that we have to investigate the answer that the kilesa gave us.
Of course. Otherwise you're fooled.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be fooled. Yeah?
Also, I'm curious because I've heard that Longpa Mahabua mentioned that Sila, Samadhi, and Panya are practices that have to be taken up together. And
Yes.
and not one at a time, but together.
Yes?
Like a tripod or something.
Yeah?
So, how much of the Samadhi is needed, like, before we investigate?
There are some investigations that you can always do. The reflection about birth, the reflection about death, that doesn't need so much samadhi. Yeah? For body investigation, you need to be able at least to rest your mind for 10 minutes without the mind going off this object. Yeah? Because, as I told her, you have to take the object, be it the hair, be it the nails, be it the skin, be it the teeth, yeah, to be able to visualize, to focus it on it, yeah? And the mind should not drift off. And then once you have the visual image inside, yeah, and then you ask the questions, yeah. Let me burn it up, or let me destroy it, let me cut it up, yeah. What is it? How does it look like, yeah? And what is the difference, one time you cut up this organ, and the next time you cut up that part, yeah? And then you look, what is the difference between these two, yeah? Why is it one called, the the liver, and one is called the bones, what is the difference between them, yeah? What is the difference between nail and skin? The nails come out of the skin. This is the same material. Yeah? So you have to ask these questions, yeah? And you have to cut it up. You have to happen, yeah? Or for death you can look at it, yeah? You place your whole body in front of you and then let it die. And then just observe what is happening. What is going out first? What of the elements is going out first? What is going out last? Yeah? I mean, what's the whole process of dying, or decaying? Yeah. And for that you need samadhi. The mind should not be able to get off while you do investigation. Yeah.
So no hindrances are there when we investigate.
So normally I say about 10 minutes being able to stay on an object, on your Buddha or on the breath, without that the mind goes off.
10 minutes is enough?
For the start of investigation.
Because sometimes when the fear doesn't come up and the meditation is easy, I'm starting to notice that the mind is extremely, it doesn't want to think, it just wants to rest.
Yeah, that is, when you do samadhi, then you do samadhi.
Yeah.
When you come out of the samadhi, then you do investigation.
Yeah, when I come out of samadhi, sometimes when I manage to practice, I just want to go back to the breath. It doesn't want to do anything.
Then you have to force it. Huh? Then you have to force it. Yeah? I mean, when you read, when you know a little bit about Luang Dah Mahaboa, yeah? I mean, Luang Pu Man, after 5 years, he said, you're just like a pig on a chopping block, yeah? Now get out of samadhi and do your investigation, yeah? Samadhi is important, yeah? Yeah? But sometimes you have to force the mind, to go into investigation, yeah? And that means forcing, yeah?
One of my, I have two teachers. The other one, from Indonesia, he's a Thai monk, and he's a student of a teacher who used to be the student of Luang Pu Wen.
Luang Pu?
He's the student of a teacher, and this teacher was a student of Luang Pu Wen.
Luang Pu Wen.
I'm sorry, I pronounced it. So
It's too long, yeah?
Yeah, he kept on mentioning to me to start investigating the body, and I only did it a couple of times because I was stubborn. But when I did it, there was this one time, because I often go back to the breath when I do daily activities. But there was this one time when the perception of people was starting to look like they're not beings, like they're like organs simply wrapped up in skin walking around.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny. I don't know which to. At that time, I don't know if I should just go back to the breath.
No, then you look at it. I mean, if these nimittas, they're called nimittas, if these nimittas are coming up, yeah, then look at it, yeah.
So not all nimittas are useful.
Not all nimittas are useful, yeah. So, I mean, if a nimitta about the body, if you see, for instance, a corpse, decaying in front of you, then you stick with it until the nimitta stops, yeah. You want to see it, yeah?
See it. We don't have to ask questions.
No, then you don't have to ask questions. If it is a nimitta, I mean, there is some sort of movement, then you don't have to ask questions, yeah? You just have to observe what is happening, yeah?
Also, the first day that I was here, I told you that I saw a very strong attachment to my parents. I tried to see the reason behind it, and it comes back to the fear of death, really, because they give me a sense of familiarity and security. So all this fear, when I try to look behind it, it comes from the fear of death.
Is it really?
Sometimes, yes.
It's not. You have not looked. You have not looked. Properly into it. Yeah. It's not the fear of death. Yeah. There's something else. And then you have to go into samadhi until there's nothing there, because there's no fear.
Yeah.
And then you go out, and then you investigate. You bring up this fear, and then try to look what is behind it.
Oh, I try to bring it up.
Yeah.
And then look at it.
And then see what is behind this fear. You have to catch the ideas that are behind this fear, the thoughts that are behind this fear. So you bring it up, yeah, and you look it, you observe it, and you stay with it. You feel it. How does it feel? Huh?
Because there was this one time that when fear comes up, but it's not the fear of attachment. It was like when I was like maybe 15 or 16. It was the fear of like darkness or ghosts, perhaps.
Yeah.
So I was curious. I thought to myself, where does this fear come from? So I try to look behind the fear. But when I tried to look behind the fear vanishes, so I couldn't investigate further.
What happened?
When I looked at what comes up behind the fear,
Yeah.
I saw that it doesn't have any substance, and then the fear disappeared, but I couldn't investigate further what.
Yeah, I mean, if it, if you see that there is no substance, yeah, but there must have been a thought, there must have been a memory coming before that fear comes.
So I have to bring it up again when it
Yeah.
vanishes.
Bring it up, yeah, and see what is behind it, yeah.
Also now I'm dealing with shame.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I watch it, it can sometimes disappear, but
Yeah.
it always comes back up
Yeah.
when I meditate
Yeah.
again and again. So do
But
I?
when coming, yeah, that's what you have to find out. When is it coming?
Yeah,
So
there are some-
after you done your meditation, you go back, do the reflection. What came before the pain? Yeah? And sometimes, it is restlessness. There's a little bit of restlessness still there. Huh? And sometimes, it is boredom. Yeah? And then the pain starts to creep in. Yeah? I mean, it's some sort of thing. Yeah? And if you're really good in Samadhi, if you really develop your sati, you see, the pain announces itself. Oh, there's a discomfortable feeling. Yeah? And then for 1 or 2 minutes, there's nothing. Yeah? If you don't counteract this first announcement of the kilesas, just say, so what?
Oh, so I have to counter it the moment it starts to arise.
Yeah.
I thought I just go back to the breath and I just ignore it until it becomes very intense. I have to look at it.
This is very easy, It is the same with sleepiness. Yeah? You see the thought of sleepiness coming up, and you said, I don't care, I want to stay awake, yeah? And then you're suddenly completely awake. You have never been so awake in your life, yeah? Huh? But most people don't even notice it, yeah? It is just one thought, yeah? So what, yeah? Whatever you say, to counteract that, yeah? And then it tries it again, yeah? That doesn't take you out of Samadhi. If you're in Samadhi, you don't even notice it. There's no pain in Samadhi. Huh?
So I noticed that from what you have taught me that I should always investigate the causes of pain, because usually what I've been doing is simply like when the kilesa comes up, I just look at it and it immediately goes away, and I never actually learn from it. So,
Yeah, so there's no wisdom.
yeah, it's only like...
So when Lungta Mahaprabhu said, Sila, Samadhi, Panya is the wisdom. Yeah? So we have to look, we have to observe. One thing is observing how things evolve, and the other thing is to ask the right questions. Huh?
So also for the body investigation, I used to take the entire body, visualize it in front of me, and
Yeah.
cut it like that. Or is it better to take one organ or part?
It really does not matter. Yeah? Whatever interests you, yeah? But not always take the same. Yeah? And sometimes you take a dog, and sometimes you take the whole body, sometimes you take only half of the body, whatever. Yeah? Lungta Mahaprabhu said it, yeah? Before you do body investigation, make a tour through the body. Yeah? And whatever object interests you, that's what you take. Don't decide, with the mind, I want to take this or that. No. Get the mind, after your samadhi, go into investigation, and then make a tour through the body, and then decide, and whatever breaks your interest, yeah, or catches your interest, this you take, and then you stick with it. And then you forget about the rest.
So should I memorize the 32 parts first?
Well, why should you memorize it? You can just see them.
Because I asked Ajahn to ChapterList, and he told me to look at books.
What? There's some reason to look at books to see the Asupa picture. Huh? But you don't need to medical books. That's useless. Huh? You just need to go with your inner eyes and you see everything. Huh?
Never tried that. I didn't think of that, because whenever my teacher told me to do Asuba, I'm like, oh, okay.
You don't want it.
I did it several times because I keep on thinking that I'm not that proficient in samadhi yet. Like,
Yeah.
I heard that one should be able to enter samadhi at any time, any place.
No, it's not necessary. No. But you should be able, after the investigation, to be able to enter samadhi, and rest your mind. Yeah?
Thank you.
What?
Asuba. The practice is very good.
She said that when she sees knee pain, she could get through it, but then the pain comes up from the butt.
Yeah?
And it was so extremely painful that her ears are ringing. Is that? And then.
Yeah, because there is always, you have to be very careful when you investigate pain. You have to accept it. If you start to dislike it, then there are other effects coming. So it strengthens the pain. Your dislike of the pain, strengthens, makes it more stronger. Yeah? And we don't like to accept pain. Feel it. Just like breathing in, the air, feel the whole, feel the whole.
Sometimes I try to separate the mind from the pain.
Yes, you can do it, but first you have to feel it, because you want to separate, because you don't want to feel the pain.
True. But when the mind...
Remember one thing, if you want to overcome hell, you have to swim through the fires of hell. You have to know exactly how hell is. Yeah? And that is the same with any kind of feeling. Yeah? If it is pain, you have to understand pain. And the pain, if you listen to some of the talk, there are 3 stages of pain. Yeah? I mean, what you're going to do is a preliminary act. Yeah? There's 3 stages of pain of death. Yeah? And only once you pass through them, then there's no more problem. Then there's no fear of pain of death.